So for its day, it was considered state of the art. The features were way ahead of its time. I think like Time Magazine either gave it the cover or did a huge expose. Did you ever see that special car that they made for Helen Keller?
No.
Neither did she.
That's too bad. They made a whole car for her and you couldn't see it?
Neither did she.
Is there a car crash one on that one?
No, that doesn't work, does it?
Well, she was a looker. Well, she wasn't a seer. Ironic, isn't it?
Isn't it ironic?
Don't you think?
It's like raining on your wedding day.
Did you forget how to start the show?
Yeah, I really did. Hey, welcome to Carnival Personnel. This is Jacques.
I'm Joe.
And boy, do we got a lot of good stuff to get to.
Boy, are our arms tired. I tell you, 2, 3, 4.
Right into the propeller. First of all, I want to say that last night when I was getting ready to plan this day, I have these moments of clarity every once in a great while. And I'm trying to think if I truly am the biggest man-child that I know. And that's saying a lot, seeing I'm sharing a table with you. But so I'm planning the day, and I'm making notes as I'm walking upstairs. Because once the boys and I leave the house, we're gone like the whole day. And I'm like, okay, because I'm going over to Dan's house to jam for a few hours.
You mean the great Dan Cray, formerly of Beyond Id, now of dancray.com?
And Dan Cray and Beyond Id. Like Beyond Id kicked him out, but it's still Dan Cray and Beyond Id.
Now they tour together.
They tour together, right.
He opened. Who opens for whom?
I close for him.
Oh, okay.
So we do. We have a show coming up in September, so we're getting ready for that. And then I'm thinking, oh, I got to make sure that I finish doing this rundown because I got to leave rehearsing with my band Pushing 50 to come here and do an awful podcast with you. And as in my head, I'm thinking, oh my God, seriously, at what point or another does Peter Pan leave the island if he ever does? And
that's me adjusting the microphone. I'm sorry.
It's all good. And as I get up to the room, I open my closet door. Like, I literally, at that point, and I don't know when it fell there or if one of the boys put it there, but I had to move Thor's hammer out of the way to get one of my T-shirts. And I'm thinking, because in my head, I'm already thinking, I'm still really bummed that I broke my ankle and I couldn't go on the hockey tournament with, Biff and John out to and All-Star Tommy to Phoenix. So, literally, that's my life. It's like trying to figure out if I can play hockey in between getting ready for a show, playing drums, and then coming here and had to move my toys out of the way to get to my Star Wars T-shirt. And I think
I was just going to congratulate you on being worthy. I mean, that hammer was just sitting there waiting for somebody to be.
Not only am I worthy, I moved it with my left hand. That's how worthy I am. Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of Thor, I finally saw, and I'm probably jumping ahead on our agenda.
Yeah, let's get right into it.
I finally, thanks to a certain friend of mine who will remain nameless, who purchased Avengers Infinity War on Apple TV, I was able to watch with my family last night probably the greatest Marvel movie, if not superhero movie. I mean, okay. Maybe
it's up there.
It's up there. Right.
I'd put a top 5.
To be honest, I hadn't seen all of Winter Soldier. I know that's up there. Civil War. I don't know what's.
I'd say
we
Winter
did a ranking.
I'd say Winter Soldier. Yeah, we'll do.
We've done one with the Avengers.
But I would put. I think I put Winter Soldier above.
Infinity War.
No, not Infinity War. Infinity War was
number one.
Was number one.
Okay.
Yeah. And how the impressive way that they had. And first of all, let's sidebar for a sec. It's great that we're getting to this now, because we're right on the pulse of things.
Well, it just came out on digital and Blu-ray, and a lot of people didn't go to see it. I mean, okay, some people didn't
Joe,
go see it.
A lot of people, a real lot of people. Let me look at
a lot of people in Uganda didn't see.
Hold on, let me look at Box Office Mojo. Yeah, right here. Shitloads of people went. It says that.
Right. It's actually like you can smell the shit from the shitload wafting from your phone. That's how much shitload it made.
But on the other hand, what was it? 2 weeks ago, we reviewed The Godfather Part 1 and 2.
Yeah, well,
So by Carnival Personnel podcast standards, we are way ahead of the curve.
Our motto is better late than never.
Exactly. No, it was great. The most impressive thing is the number of storylines that they merged and made sense. Like, if somebody told you 5 years ago there's going to be, a very big scene between, Thor and the Guardians of the Galaxy, you'd be like, no. How does that make sense?
I like how they just broke everybody up, where Iron Man and Spider-Man got to go with Gamora, or not Gamora got taken by Thanos, and how was it? Bruce Banner was with Iron Man. No, Doctor Strange? God, and Bruce Banner. Yeah.
Right.
But they broke everybody up.
Doctor Strange, Iron Man, and Spider-Man went off on the ship.
And the greatest running gag throughout that entire movie is that people are just learning about each other for the first time. Like, they're recognizing and acknowledging how ridiculous this movie is, because at one point Bruce Banner says, wait a minute, there's a Spider-Man and an Ant-Man?
Right.
It's like, it gets a little ridiculous, but it's not too ridiculous where you're like, okay, when's this slog fest over? Because it's not. It flew by. You missed. These movies are meant to be seen in the big screen. They just are. And what you missed out on, and now you might get it. I don't know. When the movie ended, were you watching it with the family? Was it you? Yep.
Was there chatter afterwards, or was there just silence?
A little bit of silence. I mean, the ending was, I kind of had an inkling, thanks to social media references, of what the ending might be, but the breadth of which I hadn't really grasped. I like the after credits scene. That was a nice little cherry on top. Connor had to Google the logo that was shown at the end, because we were like, we're not nerds. We're not that nerdy. Let's just put it that way. We're not comic book nerds. So we were like, what the hell? But
before you saw that, did you paused it and went back?
What's that?
You paused it and went back to see the logo and then looked it up?
No, Connor was quick enough to,
what did you
grasp
think?
it.
So you didn't have time to process what you maybe thought it was?
I had no idea what I was seeing. I was like, okay, they're introducing a character, but I don't know what. And then, we figured it out, thanks to the internet. But I just like that they finally have. I don't know if I don't want to give it all away, but they use Samuel L. Jackson the way they were supposed to use him, but not quite.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they had what Samuel L. Jackson was famous for is teased at the end of the movie. But anyway, there's a funny little gag. But it was overall a well-structured movie. Even the deleted scenes were fun. Did you watch the deleted scenes?
I haven't yet.
Oh, okay. Those are fun.
What ended up happening upon leaving the movie, and we talked about it when it came out, it's something I've never experienced in my movie-going years. And truly, we saw it as, my sister and the boys and I went to see it. Packed theater, and just silence. And upon leaving the theater, one little guys had to use the bathroom, and the stalls were all like, 3-4 people deep waiting to use it. You could truly hear a pin drop. Like, nobody was talking to their buddies. Nobody was saying, oh my God, I can't believe that. Do you think they're coming back? What do you think this meant? What was that at the end? Because nobody had, unless you were looking down. So I, at the movie theater, had no idea, because I didn't see it scan in on it, like, quick enough. Like, I didn't process that. And I was thinking, I wonder if they're calling Coulson, because nobody knows that Coulson's alive, because the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is in the same universe, but they've not crossed over much in the 5-6 years that S.H.I.E.L.D.'s been on.
Yeah.
But I will always, when I think of the movie, always flash back to, man, everybody was just either blown away or just so, what the fuck did we just see? When do you go to a superhero movie that ends with every superhero? You have every superhero in the cosmos, and they all lost. Mm-hmm. These guys teamed up, and those guys teamed up, and this whole slew of people teamed up, and it all was for shit. And
I looked at it as like Empire Strikes Back. I mean, because that they're going to triumph later on, but they're in their worst, lowest moment in this universe's storyline. So I know that there's going to be a reset button, as I like to put it, in this chronology. So I'm not too worried about people's fate as much. I am curious to see how they get themselves out of this sticky situation.
Do you have any theories? Have you researched any theories, or how about right off the bean? Just
right off the old bean. Well, I mean, the plot of the movie is that Thanos is tracking down the 6 Infinity Stones, and with the 6 Infinity Stones, with the snap of his fingers, he could basically destroy half the universe. And
I think he could destroy all the universe had he chosen.
Exactly right. And what I briefly on Thanos, how I liked how they made him humanized in a way, like they gave him a method to his madness, sort of. I mean, he's obviously the villain, and there's no. I don't know. Maybe there is redemption for Thanos. I doubt it. I don't think that superhero movies allow for that. Even like Loki. Even right. Yeah. It's a goofy. As far as my theories go, I think they're going to regroup. I think obviously they're going to get the band back together. What's left of the band? Spoilers. And, they'll track down Thanos. They'll get the gauntlet. They'll reset time. They do the old rewind-a-rooney.
Or they might not. You don't know everybody's coming back. And I'm not saying that flippantly because everybody's contract is up. Mm-hmm. Chris Hemsworth is up. Chris Evans is up. I think...
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr.,
Yeah, I mean, they're all aging out. So this could be just sort of like a changing of the guard. I mean, like what I've learned recently is that Bucky Barnes might be the next Captain America.
That happened in the comics. And so but you go down... on one side of the fence or the other, are you holding true to the comic books? Are you holding true to real life where a lot of these people, Robert Downey Jr. has been Iron Man for over a decade now.
But nobody wants to see a 60-year-old Iron Man.
Well, he knows that.
Yeah, and that's why he
doesn't want it either. So that's why you don't know everybody who's coming back. And if you try to base it on what happened in the comic books, and we'll get to that in a second.
Wait, is this becoming an Infinity War podcast?
It could. No, we won't do a whole thing. Oh, we could do one later if you want.
No, I know you do. I'll listen to you do it.
So, yeah, but in the comics, what was the biggest difference between the comics and here is the point that you just made. In the comics, Thanos wasn't doing this for any noble, higher, like the needs of the many, type thing.
Right.
As sick as it is, there was a purpose to it. And I think that's what makes the greatest villains. Like, Magneto does not see himself as a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
neither does Trump.
Well played. But he does. He has belief in his conviction. He's not a bad guy. He's protecting his people. And after, being a Holocaust survivor and all this stuff and having seen humanity at its worst, he is a protector of his people.
He's looking out for his own.
Sort of speak. Thanos, they gave him that noble cause. There's only, a finite number of resources in the planet, so I'm not killing half the people in the galaxy because, I'm doing it just to be a sick fuck. But, in the comics, however, there wasn't a sense of purpose except for the fact that he was doing it to impress Death. Like Death was a hot babe, a celestial, and he was just doing it to impress her. And in fact, she's Death. It is what she is. But he thought, like, when in the comic book, when Spider-Man died trying to save a girl, she thought that had gone too far, and she had brought him back. So you don't know in the comics, and the same thing. Some of the things that they did hold true, they had this fight out in the middle of the galaxy, not, in Wakanda. But it did come down to the final, Captain America. Like,
why was she up there the whole time?
Right. That was the interesting thing. It's like what they held true to. Some of the stuff that they, mixed up, when Hulk comes crashing through in the beginning, that's Silver Surfer in the comic books.
Okay.
So they changed a lot, they kept a lot, but it's amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, we're obviously we can't get all the Marvel characters due to the licensing rights. I think Fox owns Silver Surfer movie rights and Fantastic Four and X-Men. But once the Disney Fox merger goes through, baby,
Boom.
it's all over.
Well, think about that. Think what Marvel just did the last 10 years, and now they can reset and do it again.
Yeah, and they just did.
You know,
Infinity War.
I mean, now that they have all it under one roof. You know, with Spider-Man, like we talked about, there was a back and forth. Like they had to get licensed to have him be in this, and then they had a back and forth with like basically Robert Downey Jr. had to do the Sony movie of Spider-Man in order to get Spider-Man into the Infinity Wars and stuff like that. So no, I'm glad you finally watched it. It was great. I was kind of hoping to be able to see it again beforehand. I just didn't. Yeah. Because I went to 2 other movies this week.
What was that?
We saw Mission Impossible.
Fallout?
And is that what it's called? Just the latest Mission Impossible.
You like to call it Hunkamania?
I do. I really do. Simon Pegg, man. He's one.
Oh, I was thinking Alec Baldwin, but go on.
And it was at the drive-in, our beloved drive-in in Mendel. And it was fun. I'm not going to give it anything away. It was a Mission Impossible movie.
But it's like... got really great reviews.
Yeah.
Like it's like really high Rotten Tomato rating.
And I'm not being funny or trying to be funny ever. Have they done a really bad Mission Impossible? Have any of them been really panned?
I don't think they've ever been panned, but I'm sure they like plateaued or kind of, it's another Mission Impossible movie or
and I think that's when Simon Pegg came in and he came in as a writer stress, actor to kind of it's so Tom Cruise still does his own stunts.
Yep.
And
a stunt person died in the making of this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like a motorcycle female motorcycle stunt person.
100% believe that. These stunts
they halted production for like a month or something. That was weird.
So that's probably why they had 13 or 14 countries said no. There's a big helicopter chase that you see in the previews and all the movie posters and stuff like that. There's always a helicopter. There's always a helicopter chase. There's always him chasing an airplane. There's always a helicopter thing. 14 countries said no. So the whole movie took place basically in London, in France. They had to go to New Zealand.
Wow.
Just to film, the helicopter chase.
That's a long helicopter flight.
I don't think anybody wanted to, it's one thing if a stunt person died, and that's horrible. I did not know that. But if it's Tom Cruise, it's like,
he broke his leg. That's
right.
Like jumping off of like a really high place on a building, like a rooftop.
What are the insurance premiums on that?
I don't know, but he's so much of a movie star that they'll just pay whatever the fuck, because Tom Cruise will, as much as I really hate his Scientology standpoint, and I'll forever go to my grave as saying that, Tom Cruise is not batshit crazy, and, but I don't know. It works for him. He's a really good movie actor, very good. And like quality wise and just like work ethic wise, like the guy does his job very well. He doesn't just sort of phone it in.
No,
And
he, I guess it's funny. I guess in the past people have made fun of the fact that he's always running in these movies, and I don't know if the director did that on purpose. Dude, the dude runs a marathon in the movie. Like there's so many scenes where he's running from, point A to point B, like so many times.
They're making a Top Gun sequel. You knew that, right?
I did not know that. Yes, I did know that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think Val Kilmer's coming back, too. Oh, man. Like, Tom Cruise looks like he could play himself from 30 years ago. Val Kilmer does not.
He does not. It's not the years. It's all those miles.
Right.
So he's another wingnut, like religious.
Kilmer?
And it's like it's a fundamentalist, like, offshoot. So it's not. Yeah, look it up.
Okay.
Like, because I remember a little while ago, like
one more religion I have to be, contemptuous of.
They're all fucked. And the double feature that I saw was Skyscraper
with The Rock.
Now, we've talked about this when the poster came out, and all the people like my dad who's a rocket scientist, and our friend Ross who literally is a rocket, doctor of like physics and mathematics, and all these guys.
I saw him on Physics Today.
He was fantastic.
Great show.
I seriously, I still give the nod to the rerun of Alice, but I think Dr. Salowich held his own.
Does it matter if it's an inside joke if we're the only two people listening?
Are you happy?
Yes.
Did that make you happy?
Yes, it did,
Okay,
yes.
then fuck everything.
Okay.
No, but all these like, physics and mathematic people took the movie poster and went through the absurdity because he jumps from skyscraper to skyscraper in it, and they're like, okay, he weighs this much, like. This is the average length between the buildings would have to be. This is how far the distance is. He's going from here to here. He would have to be running this fast to make this jump. And then other people like corrected it with
like wind resistance
and stuff like that. Even like Neil deGrasse Tyson like weighed in online about it.
Of course.
And it's completely absurd. And here's the thing. Yeah, it's absurd. It's a rock movie.
Yeah.
It's like.
Yeah.
More or less absurd than Rampage.
Yeah, I know. Seriously.
You go down it. It was fun.
Another helicopter movie. It was like a helicopter double feature.
It really was.
How did management take it? Did she have to get fanned down between the viewings of a Tom Cruise movie and a rock movie?
And it's funny. She absolutely hates Tom Cruise with a passion. Likes Tom Cruise movies, so she's like that. What is it? Continent dissonant? What's a big boy term I'm thinking of?
She's
continent dissonant. No.
It's like it's the thing with the
stuff,
lady.
And so, and the same thing. You go to a rock movie. We're going to get back to Dan Craig. We were on tour somewhere. I have no idea where. I just know at one point we pulled over to eat at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was awful. And I'm walking out like complaining like 20 minutes later. It's like, dude, that was bad. And he's like, it's 3 in the morning and you complaining about food from Denny's. It's like walking out of the whorehouse saying you didn't feel loved.
He's got a way with words.
He is a wordsmith. But if you go to a rock movie and you're like, oh, that's just ridiculous. Yes, it's ridiculous that this Samoan
wrestler
has had the success he's had for what now? 20 years?
Yeah, gotta be. Absolutely.
I mean, think about the window of leading men, and even they all hit a window at one point or another, but he's not had something in production or coming out in 20 years. And they're all big blockbusters. They're all over the top ridiculous. There was a couple like fun little twists and turns in this, but nothing.
He was in Moana. He did the voice of the
You're
guy
welcome.
in Moana. Yeah. You know what I'm talking
You're
about.
welcome. Right,
Oh, yeah,
that
that's
song
right.
gets stuck in your head. Yeah. So it was a fun night. I recommend going and seeing both of these in the drive-in where a family of 6 can get in for $27.
Did you get the big brontosaurus ribs at the end?
And the car kind of leaned over to the side.
Oh, wait, you're a vegetarian. I'm sorry.
They have them veggie.
Okay.
Morningstar makes like the
The vegetarian brontosaurus ribs.
So it was fun.
Well, that's fun. So I'm glad we burned through 20 minutes of our podcast not talking about the awful dumpster fire that is America.
We're going to get to that after one more movie reference.
Okay.
I watched for the first time since I bought it, since it left the movie theater, Return of the, Jedi. Like The Last Jedi.
Oh, The Last Jedi.
And upon further review, I think I like it more. I think I've come to accept a few things like this is not my Star Wars.
Yep.
That the Luke Skywalker thing had to come to an end one way or another.
Right. Did it really, though?
Did it? I do not know. But I will tell you.
You mean I shouldn't tell you that Mark Hamill will be back in episode 9?
I figured somehow, like his force, his force projection or something like
Carrie
that.
Fisher's going to be back.
That's.
They're going to use. They're using, I guess, footage. J.J. Abrams is using footage from the Force Awakens, like unused, unseen footage. Not even on like the Blu-rays or anything like that. They're using like unseen footage to incorporate into this movie.
Well,
Carrie Fisher.
When Force Awakens came out, and now we're going back 4 years now, 3-4 years.
Yep.
They had a couple people from the original Star Wars who've been dead for 20 years who looked, you couldn't tell unless you were really looking. Tarkington, the commander there.
Oh, Marv Tarkin.
That actor's been dead doing the dirt nap 20 years now. And he had a major scene. He was in a couple scenes, but he had one major scene where it's him in a dialogue.
They had a voice actor mimic him, and it was CGI, but they weren't
It
planning
looked pretty great.
Yeah, they were not considering doing that with Carrie Fisher at all in this movie. Like, they're going to say no CG, but
if they were going to kill off a Skywalker and they had any heads up on it. But I will tell you, I liked it more than when I saw it in the theater, and it was absolute, tears streaming down the eyes. The scene where Luke Skywalker hands his sister Hans dice and kisses her on the forehead.
I still have a problem with the dice.
And it's like
the dice still being there for Kylo Ren to discover and then disappearing. It's like perfect timing.
That's how strong his force projections were, Joe.
Oh, dummy.
But Leia being shot out into the empty void of space and being okay.
That's fine.
That's fine. All right.
Well, she had the force. There's no rules to the force.
Right.
It's make it up as you go along.
Ergo, the dice, and anyways.
Okay.
But just that gesture of tying the three of them together, that was my childhood, and it was a wonderful moment for him. Kisses his sister on the forehead, and it's like, it got me. So upon further review, I like Jedi more than when I saw it in the theater because I got over a lot of the angsty. This isn't my Star Wars.
Right.
That's not what the Force is.
I still don't like the casino scene. Thank you.
Not completely useless, but 90% of it.
Virtually.
Oh, we're going to go here. These people. I mean, the interesting thing was the whole, hey, these bad guys who make the Empire's weapons, also make yours. Great. That scene could have been 5 seconds long.
Yeah. Or it could have been like a reference. Like, could have just been dialogue.
Right.
Yeah. Like that. And they picked up a guy who, I'll go watch it again too.
Now, it's not perfect. No. I don't think I moved it up in my Star Wars ranking.
Right.
But
well, don't worry. Ryan Johnson's gone.
Okay.
And now J.J. Abrams is back.
Okay.
He'll bring you the feels. Don't worry. The Force feels.
And speaking of coming back, Mr. Gunn might be coming back to the Guardians franchise.
It might be. Why?
Oh, they're because
I saw the online campaign from the actors, like an open letter to the world and to Disney saying, what he had done in the past should not reflect who you are in the present, and we don't think that he is that person, yada, yada, yada. But has there been any sort of movement?
The groundswelling seems to be, let's put it like this, if those actors really want him back. What he did wasn't egregious. He didn't hurt anybody. He didn't abduct.
It was a hit job.
It was like you said that last week, and you broke it down. That's exactly what it is. So
you know who else is coming back? Speaking of hit jobs, Al Franken.
Hasn't ruled out.
Right.
Hasn't ruled out. The same way, yeah, exactly. So,
I don't care if I sound like a libtard, as some people call it. Yeah, these are hit jobs. These are gotcha moments, past transgressions that were, okay, Al Franken, that's a tough one to, it's so on the line. What he did was so on the line of reprehensible, yet somewhat redeemable. At the end, you can redeem yourself from that act. It's not like he raped somebody. It's not like he committed a felony or a heinous act. He made a person feel very uncomfortable, and it may or may not.
It was douchebag to the umpteenth level.
Yes, he was a complete douchebag, but he didn't do something that's like, a murder or. And I know we're playing, well, it's not as bad as this and it's not as bad as that. Yeah. And you know what? At this point, you kind of have to go case by case and break it down. Because if we're going to do nitpicky stuff from the right accusing the left of things, then yeah, we're going to have to.
Getting into a fender bender because you didn't hit the brakes soon enough at a red light versus, maliciously driving your, van down the side of the road during a kindergarten recess.
Right.
They're different things.
And by the way, this is fucking war. Don't fool yourself. This isn't a war, my friends. We have to fight against the right wing agenda. I'm not a leftist, by the way. I'm more of a centrist, and by central I mean like center of the universe. I don't know. Infowars.com. You can see it more. But anyways, we have to. Yeah, now I'm getting off into some weird tangent. But
Do it. Go.
We have to get into this shit because if the right will not, like the conservatives that are online, that have the bloggers, that have this following of these fundamental, conservative guys, aren't going to let up on gotcha stuff for the left.
I heard a podcast, and it was something on NPR. And I don't remember the name of it, and I apologize. And it was like 2 or 3 months ago. Management heard the same podcast like just recently. They must have rebroadcast it. And I don't want to give too much credit to who this person is, but it was all about this right-wing guy, a younger person, like late 20s, who goes to different college campuses, and he shows you how to create those got you moments. And he works with the right-wing, college, like, the young Republicans or the whatever. But he has a whole booklet, and he has a whole class on, look, this is how you engage them. This is how you get a snowflake you start the conversation, you egg them on, you say awful things, you pretend to punch them in the face, and then you start recording your camera to show their reaction, and then you post a reaction, and this is how you get extra followers. This is how you make it. And I'm dead serious. It's like he goes from campus to campus running these seminars, showing you how to entrap and create these got you moments, with people like that. I mean,
it works.
It does work.
Right, and we don't have that on the left for some reason.
No, because we have the enemy of the state, liberal media, which I truly want to punch everybody in the face who says that. There is no liberal media. On Sunday, I got up and I'm like, I try to take a break from some of this crap, but I'm like, the Sunday morning shows tend to be a little more cerebral. I turned it on my TV, and it was on the same channel it was from the night before. It was on MSNBC.
Nickelodeon.
Thank you. The Laugh Network.
Oh, right.
But it was on MSNBC. Surprise, surprise. And who is there having the one-on-one discussion with the host? Scaramucci.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck that. Because I'm lazy, I don't know what our channels are, but we have the
up and down.
Xfinity one where you have the blue button. I'm like, CNN. It goes to CNN. Rudy Giuliani is sitting there on CNN talking to a host. All right, fuck it. I'll go to, Meet the Nation or whatever the CBS show is at like 9 o'clock, Face the Nation. And truly, it's a panel discussion between the moderator and 3 different Trump apologists. And I forget what it was that they were apologizing for from last Friday or Saturday.
Did it have to be just one thing?
But it was. I mean, I went from MSNBC to CNN to CBS. And I did not say, well, maybe it's a bizarre universe and Fox News is hosting Nancy Pelosi right now. But it's like, and seriously, I just got pissed and started laughing at the same time. I'm like, okay, where is this, Jew-run liberal,
anti-conservative
fake news media?
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, if Scaramucci and Rudy Giuliani, and I don't remember these other 3 people, but there's people you've seen before. Every time Trump does something stupid, it's one of their apologists out there. But I went to 3 stations Sunday morning between like 9:05 and 9:10, and it was completely
right.
That.
Well, it's perfect for the liberal media, but it's perfect for them because they get the best of both worlds. You attract the conservatives with a conservative guest, because they're speaking their lingo, and you're also angering the liberal viewers because they have a conservative guest that you can hate.
No, but if they went, like there was on MSNBC one time this week, it had a Trump surrogate on there, and they weren't letting him off the hook. He was trying to use, well, there's a different set of facts, and the host didn't relent. It was like, no. It's this or it's that. There is no such thing as alternative facts.
Oh yeah, going back to the alternative facts.
No, that was a new one.
Oh.
And it's like, is this door open or is it shut? It's not glass half empty or half full. No, the door is either open or the door is shut. The window is open and the window is shut. He either said this or he didn't say this. He either tweeted this or he didn't tweet this. But the whole spin on it was, and that's a one time, and I wish they did more of that. When Blotus was overseas and the foreign press over there were asking questions and not just taking his answers as blanket statements and moving on. There were follow-up questions holding accountable.
Yeah. And what do you think of comments about maybe Trump's tweeting about removing Mueller and trying to discredit the investigation as an overt act of obstruction of justice?
That's exactly what it is. There's no black and white on this. He has definitively said that his tweets are official statements from the President of the United States. What he puts on Twitter, and they will be cataloged in history. Covfefe will live forever in the archives of presidential speeches and whatever, because it is logged. And, Sean Spicer had said it a number of times as press secretary. Huckleberry Sanders has said it a number of times. These people say, yes, these are official statements. And then when they try to spin it, well, no, he's just expressing his personal beliefs. No, when you say something as definitive as in this, this witch hunt and stuff like that, though, that is 100% obstruction. Here's the fun thing. Like, those tweets can eventually be used in court proceedings. The walkback, so when Rudy Giuliani goes on CNN, or MSNBC, or Huckleberry Sanders stands there at the podium and says, well, this is what he really meant. Those walkbacks are not admissible in court. The tweets are, because the tweets are actual statements from the president. And this president has only in the last year given 3 in this country on our soil, has only faced the media officially 3. He's walked to the helicopter a few times, but he's only had 3 press conferences. This is how
many Trump rallies has he had?
Honestly, tonight he has one. It's probably the 10th one this year.
And I was telling you this before we started recording. What song were they playing, apparently, at the latest Trump rally in Pennsylvania?
YMCA.
Nope.
No.
Macho Man.
Macho Man, right.
Right.
Randy Savage.
Yeah,
Was
right.
Randy Savage coming out?
Oh, yeah. Snap it to a Trump. I can't remember.
and what happened at the Trump rally just the other day?
Racism?
The mobs of people going after the CNN reporter.
I didn't hear about that.
Jim Acosta. He was trying to do a hit. He was standing on his podium, the thing, and he got mobbed, and there were people behind him wouldn't stop screaming and giving him the finger and stuff like that. Dude, go and look at the footage. It is nasty. And it's one of those things where for the last 3 years now, Blotus has been saying these are the enemy of the state. These people are evil. These people are hurting democracy. These people are lying. Flat out, he's labeled the media the enemy of the state. With the exception of Fox News, they are all enemies of the state. So when somebody walked into a newspaper, Trump supporter, and shot everybody up, and then you see when he was candidate, Blotus, and people were getting accosted at his rally, add 2 more years of fuel on the fire. And when you see, and it was a couple really hot, classy ladies who were leading the charge, screaming the obscenity, giving the finger, you're like, at what point does the media stop going and covering these things because they are in imminent harm? Or at what point do these rallies turn into mobs?
I follow a person on Twitter. Her name is Oh No She Twittent. And she's really funny Twitter comedian. And obviously she's not pro-Trump. And she, I guess about 6 months ago or a year ago, she tweeted a picture of 2 ladies who called the police on black people and a picture of Huckabee Sanders, and said that, these women are just dollar store versions of Huckabee Sanders because they're the exact same body build. The woman giving the finger at the Trump rally, at this last week's Trump rally, looks shockingly like same body type as Huckabee Sanders, as Barbecue Betty, as all these other women. And there's somebody compiled all 5 of them, and she's like, if all there's 5 women that look alike that are conservative, whatever, disgusting people, including Huckabee Sanders, and said, when they all form together, they become Revoltron. That was a long way to go for a visual.
Worth it.
I need an Infinity Stone to rewind that last segment.
No, because, there was what was the other While Being Black this week? I'm trying to think. There was another really good one.
Another one?
Another while being black.
Oh.
I think it was the guy was going to his guy owns a lemonade stand, but a high-end lemonade stand that somebody said he was breaking into. He had the key and was opening up for the day.
Oh.
And the police came and truly it was awful.
Wow.
Again,
Okay.
and he had a show, look, this is the key. This is my key. These are my car keys. This is my house key. This is a key to open this up. Why would I just have that? And he literally had to explain himself because why is the black man opening up a lemonade stand, a high-end lemonade stand anyway?
With keys, sounds suspicious.
It's very Hey, Barack Obama, I know you liked him, but what was the black guy doing in the White House in the first place?
That's a bumper sticker.
It probably is.
I think it's on your parents' car.
It probably is. Oh, man. All right, so moving on. How's the witch hunt going? Any witches being burnt at the stake this week?
I don't think there are any lighter fluid activity going on, but Paul Manafort's heating up. The trial's underway. I haven't been really following it because, I don't know, I'm just kind of bored with it, man. I just want it all to end.
I will give you the best parts of it so far. You haven't been in any lawsuits.
That you know of.
I know of. Me, I've been in a couple, but, riding in a car with John for 20 years, pick up a few things.
Okay.
Discovery, court cases in real life aren't witnesses storming in just before the verdict, and it was his twin brother the whole time.
Right.
It's called discovery.
Yep.
In discovery, I have to show you what my evidence is. It's like, okay, Joe and I had a business. Joe screwed me. Here's the paperwork. Here's the bank statements. And it's discovery. So Paul Manafort was trying to get yet another extension because they don't have all the documentation that they need. And the judge was like, well, why the fuck haven't you had it? This isn't new. He owed his CPA a shitload of money. And when, high-end people will literally charge like $1 for a copy, and you're copying 30, 40, 50,000, pages of documents to get ready for this. The Manafort's lawyer actually said, well, we knew that, the prosecutor has them as part of their research. They seized everything. They have it all. And eventually they're going to have to give it to us in discovery. And so to save that money, this is a guy who literally is, they're bringing up that he spent like $2 million on suits in a calendar year. Honestly, wasn't prepared for his trial because they were waiting for the prosecutor to have to turn over documents to them in discovery that they didn't want to have to pay for the copying fee or pay Manafort what he owed his CPA in order for the CPA to give him the documentation.
He's putting the system on trial.
He really. So his
judge, do I still get paid?
his Rick Gates was his.
Say hello to Juan Sanchez. All right, that's enough.
No, I would rather talk the Simpson. It was his soul, Simpson's soul, because he had sold his soul for a donut like 20 years earlier.
Said Ned Flanders the devil. Now, Mr. Simpson, you say that you sold your soul to this man here, and you signed this contract, which is deemed unbreakable. Unbreakable. I'll be right back. And then 20 minutes later, they cut to the bathroom that he was supposed to be using, and the window's open.
Lionel Hutz was not a good lawyer.
Right.
I think
he was a great lawyer.
He still might be a little better than Rudy Giuliani. Anyways,
Go on.
So Rick Gates was his right-hand guy, and Rick Gates has, hey, I'm not going down with this. So he's been one of the witches that's been working with the Mueller investigation, and so. Paul Manafort, on one hand, the prosecutors have to show all their evidence to the defense. The defense doesn't have to say, look, this is how we're going to defend ourselves. This is our strategy until the first day of court. Oh, no, it was all Rick. Rick was the real brains behind the operation. He was really the guy who was making it all happen. And so basically they're getting laughed out of court.
I also read an article that the judge warned both the prosecution and the defense attorneys to stop rolling their eyes after approaching the bench. It's a little unprofessional. It's a little irritating. It also, pisses the judge off.
I can see you, he said something like that.
You're right.
So,
anyway, yeah, right.
But this is the first of the witch trials. Now, here's the scary thing that a lot of people are starting to speculate.
Ghosts?
Manafort owes a lot of the wrong people a lot of money. And part of the deal is, why, look, with this overwhelming evidence, why isn't he making a deal? Why isn't he cutting a deal? And the speculation is they don't need him to cut a deal. Like, they have him dead to rights. So it's not like they need him to cooperate on other things. On the other hand, he doesn't want to cooperate. He has, it's almost safer for him to be on the inside. And the worst part is you expect it, I expect it. What happens when he gets found guilty?
He goes to jail. And then,
Do you think he goes to jail? He gets found guilty.
Okay, you tell me.
He gets sentenced.
Yeah, and
then he gets pardoned.
Yep.
So
yeah,
but the witch trials are underway.
And there's a chance, by the way. Speaking of the Mueller investigation, which we weren't, but I guess so. The latest is that Rudy Giuliani told the press that the president is thinking about sitting down with Robert Mueller and giving a statement to him, but he hasn't reached a decision. Maybe within the next 5 or 10 business days.
Like everything in the Trump administration, he's making you wait through the commercial break.
Right.
There's so many times it's like,
and then he's going to play at the cartoon instead of actually giving you an answer. Right. There's no answer. They're going to move the goalpost. Something else will come up to distract. Some other jingling set of keys is going to make us forget about this.
So this is the jingling keys that nobody's paying attention to. The GOP has decided to not fund the election security task force. They were supposed to. They have this whole new. So everybody's been saying, every GOP person except Blotus has been saying, yes, the Russians hacked into these systems. And talk about moving the goalpost. Russia had nothing to do with it, nothing to do with it, nothing to do with it. Okay, so Russia did this, but they didn't do this. Okay, Russia did that too, but there's no way they got in the voting machines. And you and I have talked about this. I'm awful with names.
Joe.
Chadwick Boseman.
Oh, close. Chadwick Boseman.
Boseman. But the other white name I do remember, Reality Winner.
That was not a white name.
I know. But Reality Winner is the person who was working at the FBI who found out and all the research. Oh, my God. They tried to get into voting machines in 21 states and were successful in at least half of them. And she went public with it. And here it is almost a year later, after she was sent to jail for disclosing state secrets. She's the only one who's gone to jail over the Russian hacking thing. And her crime was letting us know. She was a whistleblower. Yes, they got into the voting machines. And
she compromised American security.
Right, by telling us that our security is compromised.
Right.
And so now...
It's a dream within a dream within a crime.
But the thing is, Blotus won 3 states on less than combined total of 70,000 points. So he cannot ever say that they got into the voting machines and they changed even one vote, because that just opens up, this whole floodgate. But now they are actually saying, yes, they got into the machine. So yes, they hacked. Yes, they did the email. Yes, they gave the NRA money. Yes, they funneled other things. Yes, they exploited Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Yes, they got into it, but...
Yes. We have no collusion. We have no collusion today. And if we did, it wouldn't be a crime.
Right, collusion's not a crime. Oh, no. Hey, treason, it's just, hey, what's treason between, a president and...
what's treason between 2 dictators?
But that's what's happening now is the goalposts keep moving. This did happen. And so with the midterms less than 100 days away, Joe, finally... a year and a half into his presidency, over a year and a half in, he had his first official meeting with the powers to be to oversee the election, oversee the security. They all came to the White House. The meeting lasted less than a half hour. Honestly, they sat around a table, they did the photo op, and he just got up and left the meeting. And so it turned back over to the House, and they voted down the funds to fund, hey, we are still getting hacked. This is still going on. And the GOP said, no, well, it's going on, but it's going on for us. Hey, if you really cared about Russian hacking, you would have come to Russia with us on the 4th of July and made sure they were hacking for you.
Hey, that money's got to go towards starving farm subsidies.
So
we can't get into it.
Okay.
It's 50 minutes. Let's get to the 3D guns and then take a break.
3D guns.
Yeah, 3D guns. The only 3D guns I like are the ones in video games. The ones where you can play a
Duck
3D
Hunt.
shoot. Yeah, exactly.
What kind of gun was that?
That was a light phaser or something. But yeah, so I guess there's a temporary injunction on the
But the art genie's out of the bottle. The person who wasn't supposed to posted it. How is he not locked up?
Who knows? Maybe they haven't found him yet. I don't know.
Who pays for his defense? The NRA?
Probably. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is that, they're, these 3D guns are available. First of all, yes. Okay, we're talking about a very not high concept, but not it's easier to get a real fucking gun, a reloadable gun, than doing these 3D guns.
Not if you're 15, 14, 15,
Right.
and in a school that has a really good 3D printer you
Right.
have access to.
And I'm actually calling this the jingling keys of the gun debate right now because, yes, it is an important issue. Yes, we should have laws in place that prevent the download of such things and the creation of such things that are virtually undetectable. By the way, you still have to buy fucking bullets in order to to make the gun work. And they're single shot guns. They are,
How many shots took out Lincoln?
We've gone from, we've gone from a nation who's crying out to ban mass assault weapons to, literally plastic guns that break after the first shot or the second shot. Like these are toy guns compared to assault weapons. Other end of the rainbow. It's important. We shouldn't let up on it. But at the same time, don't keep your eyes on the prize. Keep your eyes on the prize. Don't let this issue bog down the bigger picture. And unfortunately, yeah, you kind of have to, if we have
Grapevine Führer?
What's the German one for yes? I don't know. I don't think there is one. What was I going to say? It's one more thing to yell about. And I know I'm not a good person when it comes to being a spokesperson for gun advocacy because I'm a stumbling idiot who thinks that we should probably only yell about the biggest thing and then work our way down. I'm glad that this is being talked about. I'm glad it's but what I'm not glad about is that this single shot 3D printable thing is probably one of the lowest threats to American society right now. It's something to talk about. I don't know. It kind of, I don't want to say it waters down the debate.
No, you're right. It's like, do you want to spend your resources getting the AK-50 whatever's off the street?
Yeah.
Or there's, how would...
They can do both.
While you were talking, in my head, I saw you.
Cartoons.
You're sitting there. I see your mouth moving. I heard your voice, but I also heard... frozen caveman lawyer explaining gun control.
I'm just an unfrozen caveman. I don't understand your 3D printing technology or electricity or forgeable plastics. Yeah, but I do know is that guns kill people. That's a second Phil Hartman reference for the day. We got to go for the hat trick after this is the Funk Sponsor of the Week.
Merlin's a game that you can play. You can play it 6 different ways.
Some like to play at tic-tac-toe. Others can test their skill at echo.
Some play a tune on Music Machine or try to play Blackjack 13.
Merlin is 6 electronic games in one. It's really fun for most everyone in the family. 6 pinlight batteries not included.
With lights and sounds.
6 games in one.
Merlin's a game that's lots of fun.
Merlin, 6 electronic games in one. From Parker Brothers.
Okay, so now we move on to sport. And, Joe, I got nothing. I have less than nothing. But I'll talk about it for 20 minutes.
Shit. God damn it. Well, we should sing a very happy birthday, not only to my better half,
To who?
my wife.
Thank you.
She also shares a birthday with your wife, Tom Brady. Happy birthday, Tom. You're 41 years young.
Are they the same? Close to the same age? She's
Identical.
a few years younger.
Say no.
I'm helping you
Oh,
out here.
you!
Take
Damn
the
it.
lifeline.
Hey, edit that part out and then put me saying yes. And then and then when I wink, and remember, did you ever see that skit with Zach Galifianakis doing the live edit thing on Saturday Night Live? That's
So good.
And that was a real thing.
And then it came out really well.
Right. It was that
It
high
cut together well.
Right. He long story short, Zach Galifianakis is doing some weird public access sitcom type show where he's instructing through the camera to the editor how he wants to have cut what was just performed on camera and then replayed 15 minutes later on a live show. They did it. It was like all this weird sort of like, okay, I want half my face to be, whatever. This, I want me to be winking and then, have me walk in, and then they pieced it together. And it was really experimental, but it really worked out well. Anyway, go on with the sport talk and Tom Brady's cock.
Yeah. No, seriously, past camp, all camps have opened. No interest.
Band camps?
I'm still, one time at band camp, I'm still not, taking the bait on it. I'm not following along. I'll see a couple things on Twitter. It's yeah, I will eventually. But the only thing I will say, and we've joked about this, as Bostonians, and I'm not going down the racism wormhole again. But one of the big talking heads on Fox Sports was saying how the Patriots are racist because all their percentage of skilled players are white. And it's true. We've joked about it. Last year, you look at their wide receivers. It was Hogan. It was Edelman. It was Amendola. And then you got, Gronk. And then they had, their other tight end. I'm blanking on his name now. All white dudes. But it's not like
they have white receivers.
They didn't go to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like, and it's the same thing. It's like, the Boston Celtics in the 80s. Everybody liked them because they were white. And it's like, 4 of the 5 starting players are in the Hall of Fame. They just happen to be really good. But and I'm listening to that because people are trying to make stories out of anything to suck you into training camp right now.
Yeah.
And by the time this podcast dropped, we would have had the Mass Pirates' last home game of the regular season. I expect them to have won this game by 40 points. They're playing a team that's 0-15, who's lost every game by an average of 30 points coming in. Joe, if you've ever wanted to live out your dream of being a professional arena player, I can get you in on the fourth quarter. You're going to get lit up, but you can actually...
Rudy.
So that's it. But I have nothing on sports, and I don't think I will for a couple weeks.
Oh.
I just don't.
But the people, Jacques, the people.
The only fun thing is the Vegas Knights. My beloved Vegas Knights social media is fun. And one of the tweets they had the other day, they're like, in our third round or the second round, we drafted, Xavier, whatever his last name is. We've illegally changed his name, and they still spelled it Xavier, but it was 2 crossed swords because they're the Knights. He goes, no, it's pronounced the same way. And then they did, but we did it with swords. Did you see that? And it was like so stupid. But that's the only thing I have on sport.
Yeah, okay.
The cricket still sucks.
That goes without saying, but we said it anyway.
So are you playing any new games before we do the written review of the week? It's in the last 6 days because we moved up the recording. Have we gotten a new game? Have we started a new game?
I did pick up a couple of new games for the PlayStation 2 at a store that will remain Goodwill Nameless. But I want to say that I have not played them yet. They're so boring to even mention. I'm not going to mention them here.
What were they?
They were games.
How much?
I don't know. They were like $3.50 each.
Wow.
Yeah, see, I'm a big spender.
Rockefeller.
I know.
I don't see so well. Is that John Rockefeller over there?
Well, why suck the dicks if you can't spend the money? So Jacques going over to my wall of shame. He's gonna go grab a game. He's gonna grab a game off my wall. Oh shit! He's gonna go puke into a bucket. Oh, those are. What are you looking for? The old
Wrong places.
the old Nintendo NES guidebook by Pat Contry, Pat the NES Punk on Twitter. Yes, we're doing a Nintendo game. And it's not Track and Field 2, and it's not Twin Cobra. Come on, Joe, you can do this. It's a twin. It's a. We're losing light.
Line. You want some water?
Is it Trojan? I don't know. There is a game called Trojan. No, it's not a condom. It's
On the condom the fastest.
yeah. Is it Twin Eagle? I don't know. What is it? Is it Twin Cobra?
It is. It is Twin Cobra.
All right, so it was Twin Crow. I have not played it. All right, but it's a helicopter game. Hey, The Rock is in this game apparently.
or Tom Cruise.
Right.
Have they been in a movie together?
You know what? I don't think they have. Have they? I don't know. This is. I'm strictly going by label here. I see.
Are you judging a book by its cover?
Yeah, it's on the rough seas. I see battleships. I see helicopters with shark teeth painted on the sides. It looks like the helicopters are attacking and blowing up the battleships. I assume they're German. I hope they're not, American. I hope it's not friendly fire or some weird civil war. But I don't know. I guess it's a shooter, and I guess it's a decent game. I probably will not play this game. You know what game I have been playing though? Mega Man X series. It's a game series that came out in the 90s and the 2000s.
Yeah, you've been on that for a while now.
Yeah, like there's like 8 Mega Man X games. So I've actually beaten X1 and X2, and now I'm playing X3 and a little bit of X4. So that's exciting. And the reason I'm mentioning it is because you can go out now and buy the Mega Man X Legacy Collection on PlayStation 4 or on Nintendo Switch, maybe Xbox One. I don't know. I don't have an Xbox.
Are you playing it on the Switch?
No, I'm playing it on my emulator.
Oh,
yeah, the old school.
Old school.
Yeah, right. The new version.
The new old school.
The new old school. So Twin Cobra game. Who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah,
but you own it.
I own it, and proudly.
Yeah, as you should.
And I'm going to sell it for.
Now, do you own it just because it fits in the shelf? It's like Johnny Bravo, and it fit the suit.
It does.
Is it a wall? Is it a wall bearing game?
Right.
To keep
If this game had a swastika on it, I probably would own it because no, I would not. Actually, I think there's a game. There actually is a game. The Japanese version of it has swastikas. It's called Bionic Commando. It's supposed to take place in Germany, like Nazi Germany or something. But the American version wiped that out. Good for the Americans because we wiped out the Nazis. Remember that?
No, we actually didn't. They're still in Charlottesville.
I hate
They're
Charlottesville
still
Nazis.
keeping.
Boy.
Well
Anyways,
done, my friend.
Are you going to ask me how much Twin Cobra for the Nintendo Entertainment System would go for on eBay? I'm going to guess $4, $5 if I'm feeling
little snazzy.
Snazzy, yeah.
You might be in for you might maybe you want to go back and take a look. Yeah,
they're asking for $11 or $12. So all right. You know what? I might have to thin the herd a little bit. Now that I'm paying $300 for an EpiPen. God damn America.
No, you're paying $300 for 3 EpiPens.
Well, no,
let's not be.
No, I'm paying technically $300 for 2 EpiPens, and then I'm paying another $300 for another pair of EpiPens. But that's another time.
And if we were in Canada and you were Canadian, you'd be paying
less than $300.
Probably nothing.
Yeah, maybe.
Something
as of now,
it's essential for life.
Yeah, it sucks. It's awful, and I have full health insurance. By the way, I'm not on some weird. I have health insurance.
You got a real job.
Yep.
Real big boy pants in the morning.
Yep. Yep.
Your brown khakis. Mm-hmm. Your blue shirts.
My tiki torch.
Yeah.
And I go to work. I see Kyle. And
I say seek.
Oh, man, we can't get through a podcast without referencing the Nazi goddamn party.
Hey, is it a party without the Nazi?
Don't be stupid. Be a smarty.
Come and join the Nazi party.
Isolate that.
No, I want to wink out of this eye. Are you watching anything? Other than Infinity War?
What am I watching that's topical? Not really. No, I mean, I think I've been playing the games and just, head games, really. Avoiding life, but not in the right way. I should be watching television. My wife, by the way, wife stopped binging NCIS and stopped binging CSI.
Wait. She stopped?
Well, she finished.
Thank you. There's a, you know.
Right. It's you wish you could finish smoking, you know. I reached the end of smoking. Yay.
I quit drinking. Oh, good for you. Yeah, I ran out of beer.
Right. So now she's moved on to another horrible wormhole I like to call the DC universe. She's watching Arrow. Are you watching Arrow, or did you stop at like a certain season?
Well, we are a season and a half behind because, and I don't know if your wife will go down this wormhole, as you know from our good friend Sam, who came on the show and broke everything down while you did some laundry.
Got my fold on.
They do some crossovers, like every season, and they'll cross over. There's it starts season 2, there's one, and then season 3, there's a couple with the Flash, and then you kind of want to go back and watch the Flash and get caught up to that point, and then you go past the point where they crossed over with here, and then oh wait, now the Flash just crossed over with Supergirl. She will definitely want to watch the crossover with Flash and Supergirl. It's a musical. It's very, very, very good.
You have it written down somewhere.
Then there's 2 crossovers where all of the shows intersect. I mean, all of the DC shows and characters intersect. And so that's what ended up happening with us. She was all into Arrow, and then she really liked Barry Allen, this version of the Flash, and I knew she would. So we went back, and that's exactly what happened. And so now, but I will say, what is the biggest thing that I said to you when you text me that she was watching Arrow?
Salmon ladder.
Every time Amel Arrow does the salmon ladder, the Twitterverse goes just moist with all the every woman in the world, and 10-15% of dudes. Now here's the funny thing. They know that's female porn, and there's been more than one time on all the crossover shows where people have like the female characters, even like there's a couple gay ones who have been like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. What was he doing? He was doing the salmon ladder. And they'll just pause and look at each other like, right? It's one of those things. And then there was funny that one time that, Barry Allen, the Flash, was visiting the Arrow Cave. He's like, there's nothing to it. And he was going super speed, going up. And you know what the salmon ladder is. He was going, do you know what that is?
Explain to the people.
So it's like a pull-up bar, but it has like 5-6 rungs going up. And you have to push the bar, pull yourself up, and then push the bar up and catch the next rung.
You're hopping up each notch. While holding the bar.
And truly, I mean, every time I see it, I'm like, am I in that 10 or 15%? So Barry Allen did, he goes up and down, and there was like 3 of the female like superheroes and like support staff, and they're looking at each other. Yeah, it's not the same.
I'm in the 85% that can't do the salmon ladder.
No. You are in the 99% who can't do the salmon ladder. Even people who can do it. I mean, the guy Amell, Stephen Amell, he is a world-class athlete. He does a lot of his own stunts. That's something that made my wife management fall in love with him. It's like when they do like the parkour thing and you can stop it. It's like, it's not a stunt guy. It's him. He is built like that. He did a Ninja Warrior for the Red Nose. I highly suggest. Was that an NBC Red Nose charity thing that they do?
Yeah.
Google Stephen Amell Red Nose Ninja Warrior.
I'll do no such thing.
There was like 5 different sections, and for each section that you successfully, got across, you raised $5,000 for your charity. And then he did another course because he just kept going.
Wow.
And he was going and going, and then he's over this pit of water. He's doing like, this bike pedaling thing that's on like a tightrope that you do. And then he hangs there with one hand, addresses a crowd, thanks them for their support, thanks everybody who raised a charity, said, yeah, I'm done now. He did more than twice as much as all the other people had done. And he's just awesome. It's a really good show. If you want to hear a little more, if you don't, too bad. It's very Batman. They took Arrow, and they can't do Batman because of the DC universe, and they don't want to confuse. It's one thing that you have 2 Flashes now.
You have Gotham going on.
You have Gotham. And so a lot of the backstory and the folk, and what's really interesting, and I've babbled this before on the show, the creators of this show at a Comic-Con ran into the guy who created Arrow, and they really badgered him into giving feedback, and he didn't want to, and he finally did. He said, no, he's not this guy. He's more this guy. I'm glad that there's a show. I think what you're doing with your Arrow is great, but that's not how I ever wrote him. That's not how I intended them. And he said, so when season 2 came off, he watched the first 3-4 episodes, and he's like, oh, they didn't just say, oh, yeah, well, fuck that, dude. We're doing our own way. And they took his note to heart. They completely changed the character and for the better. But there's so many Batman nods, and even some of the bad guys are Batman bad guys. You're not going to get a Batman show.
Yeah.
Because the bar's so high for Batman movies. You can't do a...
Yeah, you're not going to get an Adam West type show or something, or even like a B. You don't want to get like a B version of Batman.
Right. Especially where you got a $200 million movie coming out with just him.
Right.
Do you want a $1.5 million cheesy set episode? So that's why. But they're very similar in their characters, except Green Arrow is a playboy who bangs a lot of chicks and gets drunk. I mean, that's so they merged a lot of it, but it's fun.
Oh boy,
I'm glad she's not watching NCIS.
What are you watching on Netflix?
Goldberg's. It's and fuck you, Adam Goldberg.
Adam F. Goldberg.
F for fuck you. I well up almost every episode. It's
Oh, man.
oh man. And here's the funny thing is, you, like myself, absolutely hate Jews, but yet,
Wait a second. Wait a minute.
but they did. They had, there's so many. There was just this great episode where the mother was jealous of Christmas across the street and tried to make Hanukkah Christmas, and it was really good. It's like either the grandpa, it's everybody gets a turn at being the one whose story kind of gets out there.
Yep.
and
They explore their character a little bit more. Yeah.
and every single now it's like when you watch a movie at home versus in the movie theater, and I cannot not have the phone in my hand and check out how it did on Box Office Mojo, how it did on Rotten Tomatoes. Is there a sequel coming? Like, you're scrolling while you're watching movies at home. With the Goldbergs now, I'm trying to figure out, okay, at the end of this episode, what real clip or person are we going to see? Was it the gym teacher that's going to do an interview? Is there actually footage of, his father when he grew an awful mustache? Now you're trying to figure out what the...
Did you get to the Double Dare episode? Or
I did not get...
I think that's like later season.
Well, we're not... The thing is, it's like whatever comes up on demand. Like, so
Oh, okay.
it's the summertime.
I see. You're watching the current season.
Whatever comes out. So we have it set to record new episodes and old ones. So we might have 2 in a row from season 2, and then another channel had once in season 1. But each and every episode is just great.
Yeah, I know. And you get to hear Patton Oswalt every day episode. So good.
Yeah, and I'm a big Patton Oswalt. Win.
Yeah, they actually make a little joke about there's an actor, Adam Goldberg, and that's why. And I guess he's a producer too, whatever. So
there's another Adam Goldberg in his school.
That's it. Yeah, right. And the Adam, the main Adam character, whenever he references the other Adam Goldberg, it's like, I'm Adam F. Goldberg. The other Adam Goldberg gets a little testy if I get us confused, with other people. It's kind of like a little
William S. Macy thing.
Wait. What was that? A William H. Macy?
That's what I said.
Oh, okay. That's
Shut
right.
up.
Bill Macy and William H. Macy? Right.
One of them is owed a check.
Right. Damn these glasses, son.
I damn thee.
I don't know.
So back to Phil Hartman.
Right. What other? Yeah. Do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about the Pee Wee Playhouse debacle? Do you know anything about that?
No.
I'm kind of talking out of my ass.
Yeah, but please do. Jim Carrey.
What? So no.
What was the Jim Carrey movie where he talked from his ass?
Oh, Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura.
No. So Pee Wee Herman, the Pee Wee Herman show, the original '81 Pee Wee Herman show, like that was like an off-Broadway show, or maybe it was like a Los Angeles show.
It was the Groundling Show.
The Groundling Show, yeah. Phil Hartman was a player and writer, and kind of a co-creator of that. And then when it got taken to television, there was some disagreements between Paul Rubens and Phil Hartman, and Phil Hartman was essentially kind of aced out of the TV show and there was some bad feelings there. And I think they had patched it up before Phil, passed away.
They went to a movie together.
They did. They did, and they shook on it.
Hey-oh!
Hey-oh!
All right, parenting tip.
I say that you should instruct your children to eat their vegetables. There, I did it. Parent of the year. Father of the year. You're welcome, America.
My parenting tip was originally going to be watch the Goldbergs as a family because it was a great episode where they did a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air one. Please tell me you saw that.
Wait, Fresh Prince was a 90s show.
Yeah. Oh, the parents just don't understand. Before Fresh Prince.
Right.
They did,
right. The
they
video.
Did the
parents
video.
just don't understand. Yeah.
Right. But the like dads just don't give a care.
Oh, I did
and
not.
they beat up their dad really bad, and they showed their dad thinking he'd like it, and then the whole episode, spoiler alert, was like they realized they got a really kick-ass dad, and who's gruff, and he's us.
Yeah.
He's a
You morons!
I love that, but great because it's like I'm not ready for the kids to watch that '70s show where Red calls them dumbasses, but we'll stick with morons for now. But there was a great episode where. The sons apologized. The father's like, I don't want to hear this. And he goes in the other room and he starts like weeping. And the son's like, hug him. And my boys are like, maybe our dad isn't, the a-hole. So I was going to say watch it together. But I'm going to spin that because, as you know, I had a funny thought on the way here. We were driving here from band practice to come to do a podcast that only All-Star Tommy's listening to. Maybe my sister, maybe your sister.
Biff's checked out.
Yeah, well, long ago, But, my oldest guy hurls, and not like, hey, Papa, pull over, opens a window, projectile vomits. And I made the decision. We could go 45 minutes the other way, change his clothes, maybe give him something, or the show must go on. So I'm teaching my children that, what? It doesn't matter. Like the other day we were playing football, a little guy, he caught it with his face. And he's like, my eye, Papa, my eye. I'm like, how did it hit your eye? Did you not see the football coming? And then he started laugh crying type thing. And he didn't miss a play. I was like, all right, just suck it up. We keep playing. We got another half hour of this and go from there. Same thing, If you want your liberal snowflake vegetarian tree hugging kids to understand in reality that the show must go on means you lead by example and you go do your crappy podcast, be damn throwing up all over the car with the window open that covered the back seat and his little brother.
Yikes.
Which is why I called you on the way. I said, we need to borrow your shower when we get there.
And you don't have to bring it back.
But that's my parenting tip of the week. Don't just tell your kids the show must go on. You lead by example.
Literally, the show must go on, and it did. And you're welcome, listeners. You can follow us on Facebook at Carnival Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at Carnival Podcast. You can follow Jacques' dick pics on Instagram, apparently. I don't know. What...
All my dick pics are of Dick Grayson.
Yeah, right. See what we did there? You dirty you.
I was just minding my own business, officer, sticking my my dick through this hole in the fence.
Oh, you almost had it.
And then this son of a bitch comes by.
Is it a crime? I'm not a expert on oral sex. I'm just an unfrozen caveman. That's enough. I think that's enough rambling. I got a lot of editing to do. But luckily I have an extra day to do it because we bumped up the recording. Not that you notice or care that it's, my house is not air conditioned, and
except Paul Manafort lights himself on fire protest on tomorrow's court thing, and we don't mention that.
Oh yeah, I know. So, have a good last weekend, everybody, and Jacques, for the love of God, don't forget